Alright guys, thought I'd try a new lure today. This is a Bomber, fat free, I think this is a 10 to 12 foot deep diving crankbait. And this is the silver shad color. It's got a nice rattle. And this is not my favorite. Well, I can't say it's not my favorite, I haven't used it yet. But normally for winter conditions, I use a Bomber flat A crankbait. And it's thinner than this one, but this is thinner than a normal Bomber, so I'm gonna give it a shot and I'm gonna see how it does. Now, one thing I'm looking for in winter for a winter crankbait is a tight wobble, and if I pause it, I want it to stay down instead of floating right back up like a bobber, and this seems to do that. I didn't think there was much difference in the profile. The thinner crankbaits will stay down better than the fatter style crankbaits. They tend to pop up like a bobber almost. But yeah, this stays down a nice long time. Feels like it's got a tight wiggle. I feel it bouncing off the bottom. That's good. Let's see. Yeah, I like the little wiggle it's got. I don't know if y'all can see it. Let's see how true it runs. Cast straight out. And this is right out of the box, so it might not run this true for you. It might just be a special one, but that's looking pretty spot on when I really crank it. Kind of goes off a little bit. Oh yeah, it runs a little bit to the left at the end. Might have bounced off something though, but seems like it's a pretty quality little crankbait. I like to give on a little more action, give it little pulls every now and then, stick it, let it sit. Yeah, I think it's bouncing off the bottom, and that's why it's tending to run a little off at the end. See if I can get it down where I want it. I just can keep kind of slow. I think a lot of people overcomplicate fishing in general, but most importantly bass fishing. And you know, they'll have a jigging rod, a crankbait rod, a flipping and pitching rod. You know, they end up going out of the water with 30 rods, and to me that's just kind of a little ridiculous. I'll show you what I use for pretty much every style of fishing. This is a Shakespeare ugly stick, 5 foot 10 inch medium action rod, and I use this for everything unless I'm going after big cats. And then I use a Zebco Big Cat Hunter, I believe the name of it is. I can't remember if it's 7.5 or 8 feet. Heavy action rod. I also have a Quantum, and I used to be one of those that overcomplicated everything. I also have a Quantum 6 foot one piece, medium heavy action bait casting rod. I also have I have two Shakespeare Manises. One's a spinner and one's a bait casting. And feel like something nosed it there. I gotta start paying more attention when I talk. And let's see, I've got a Shakespeare Tiger, medium action 8-foot rod, and I've got a crappie rod, a Mr. Crappie, Mr. Crappie, however you say it, slab shaker 12-foot light action crappie rod. I've got a couple of brim poles too. I've got a 13-foot telescoping brim pole that I use. But this is by far my favorite rod. I mean, it's got the exact tip with enough backbone for me, and I really like ugly sticks. I don't like that as a two-piece. I don't like two-piece rods. Because they tend to loosen up a lot, and if you can see all this like white discoloration is just where it's kind of losing its form, and it's no fun going swimming for your favorite rod's top half. Also on that hook set earlier, when I thought something nosed it, I actually set the hook in the wrong direction. So another little tip with crankbaits: if you're going to set the hook, don't set it straight up, set it sideways. Because setting it, if you look at how a crankbait is made, if the fish takes it in the mouth and you set the hook straight up, you're just hitting the top of the crankbait on top of the mouth. But if you set it at an angle, so you're turning that crankbait over, so you're flipping it over and you're giving the chance for the hooks to really set in deep, instead of just bouncing it out off the top of the mouth. So yeah, caught myself on a little mistake there, but gave me a chance to tell you a really good tip on crankbait fishing in general. Another thing is keep the rod low. I even know some people that will get down on one knee if they're in a boat when they set the hook to keep the rod tip in the water. That's just so the bass doesn't jump. And just to show you the difference in body styles, of the crankbaits I was talking about, like this one's thinner. This is a Rebel R right here, the Wee R, and it's thinner than most crankbaits, but you see it's still bigger than this, a little wider, a little shorter, but a little wider. This has a nice rattle too. This is a shallow diving. You can tell by the lip. Square lip. I like square lips. This is what I'm talking about, really. You get to the bigger crankbaits. This one's all dirty. See how much wider it is? And this is a no-name brand. One side looks like a shad, one side looks like a crawfish. So it's like two lures in one. But you see the difference in thickness there. This one comes up real fast. This one comes up real slow. And I gotta say, I really like this little Rebel. Not Rebel. Bomber fat-free shad. I think it's going to be a good winter pattern. I wish it was a little darker. This is all they had. So thanks for watching the video. I hope it's been informative. And if you pick up one of these and try it out, you know, feel free to let me know how you like it too.